All right, we're going to bring you some breaking news just coming into us now here in Al Jazeera that Pope Francis, the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church, has died.
The world froze when news broke of Pope Francis's passing. But what truly stunned everyone was what followed. His burial just 5 days later, shattering centuries of Vatican tradition. No elaborate ceremonies or grand rituals, just a simple, humble farewell that left many wondering why. Initial theories pointed to health concerns or Vatican protocols, but as details emerged, it became clear this was Pope Francis's own design. Behind Vatican walls, he had meticulously planned his final departure with the same humble spirit that defined his papacy. From mysterious documents disappearing from his desk to whispered final instructions, Francis orchestrated an ending that perfectly mirrored his life. Perhaps most revealing was Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle's role, a man many believe could become the next pontiff. What did Tagle know? What confidences did Francis share in their final conversation? Join us as we uncover the truth behind this unprecedented burial and how it reflects everything Francis stood for. When the Vatican announced Pope Francis would be buried after just 5 days, Catholics worldwide were bewildered. For centuries, popes received 9 days of mourning, elaborate processions, and grand ceremonies. A Vatican spokesperson simply stated, "We are following the Holy Father's wishes," confirming that even in death, Francis rejected pomp and circumstance. This wasn't surprising for a pope who always chose simplicity. From day one, he declined golden thrones and lavish apartments, preferring modest quarters and a mission of service. Sources reveal he left explicit instructions: no extended ceremonies, no extravagance. "Let my passing be a moment of prayer, not a performance," one aide recalled him saying. Rather than resting beneath St. Peter's Basilica like his predecessors, Francis chose St. Mary Major Basilica, a place closer to the people he served. It was his final lesson in humility. His last public appearance at Easter Sunday now feels like a deliberate farewell. Francis appeared frailer than usual, his hands trembling as he offered a brief blessing. His message was strikingly simple, a heartfelt plea for peace in conflict zones. Vatican insiders later revealed he rewrote this speech multiple times, telling a friend, "I want this to be my last word to the world." After Easter, everything changed inside the Vatican. His schedule cleared, meetings canceled, and an unusual calm descended. Behind closed doors, Francis spent his final evening, not with dignitaries, but sharing a simple meal with his nurse and secretary, listening to hymns from his childhood. Around 8 p.m., he called for his confessor. When the priest emerged later, he appeared solemn yet peaceful. Shortly before midnight, Francis looked at a close aide and simply said, "I'm ready." He refused hospitalization. No machines, just quiet prayer in the room where he had served for years. At dawn, his nurse found him at peace, as if he had gently slipped away in conversation with God. What followed was extraordinary. An envelope sealed with his handwriting disappeared from his desk. A file labeled in Spanish vanished from his nightstand. No official explanation emerged, but many believe Francis prepared not just for his death, but for the Church's future. His funeral broke every tradition. No 9-day mourning period, no grand ceremony beneath St. Peter's Dome. His coffin wasn't ornate but plain as he requested. Thousands lined Rome's streets with candles, not mourning a pope in splendor, but a man they loved. Inside Vatican circles, opinions divided sharply. Traditionalists saw it as breaking sacred customs, while others recognized it as Francis's final message. Leadership is about service, not titles. When news spread globally, millions mourned regardless of faith. In Argentina, streets filled with people holding sunflowers, his favorite. A tearful woman in Buenos Aires said, "He was one of us, not just a pope, but a voice for the forgotten." Amid grief, something unexpected happened. Reports emerged of sudden healings and answered prayers at memorial sites. A mother in Naples claimed her chronically ill child recovered after praying at his shrine. In Poland, pilgrims reported seeing sunlight pierce storm clouds during prayers in his memory. Vatican officials remained cautious about these accounts, but whispers grew. Could Francis be on a path to sainthood sooner than expected? His choice of St. Mary Major as his final resting place spoke volumes. For over 600 years, popes were buried beneath St. Peter's, but Francis wanted to remain accessible to the people. This wasn't just any church. He had visited it countless times during his papacy, often privately without cameras. By choosing this location, he rejected the hierarchy that frequently surrounds the papacy. His simple coffin was placed where pilgrims could approach freely. No barriers, no golden gates. Visitors worldwide now come to kneel beside his tomb, leaving flowers, handwritten notes, and tokens of gratitude. A young Brazilian visitor summarized it perfectly. He didn't want to be above us, not in life and not in death. As the Church looks forward, the question remains: will it continue Francis's path of humility and reform, or return to old traditions? Inside Vatican City, many pledge to keep his vision alive, but challenges remain. As discussions begin about his successor, pressure mounts. Will the cardinals choose someone embodying Francis's spirit? Meanwhile, calls for his sainthood grow louder. For many, he was already a living saint, a man who embodied the gospel through simple acts of compassion and courage. Whether formally canonized or not, his legacy endures in every heart he touched. Cardinal Tagle offered perhaps the most revealing insight when he shared Francis's final words. "When I leave, remind them my life was never about power, but about people." Tagle added, his voice breaking, "He didn't fear death. He embraced it knowing he had given everything to serve." Before we conclude, a special message to our Filipino viewers who admire Cardinal Tagle, now mentioned as a potential successor. This isn't about subscriber numbers or entertainment. If you're watching to truly understand Francis's legacy and the hope Tagle represents, remember that some stories transcend social media. They speak directly to the soul,